VHS or DVD screen grab. Blah, 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 blah. I'm quite happy to. Oh, they're not soldered on. Hello and welcome to another Retro Crazy. My sincere apologies, I've got a very sore throat, so if I sound a little bit more coarse than normal, my sincere apologies. This is my Casio Loopy. Released on October 1995 for 25,000 yen, which equates to about £150 or 180 euros in today's money, it was aimed exclusively at female players. With a 32-bit 16MHz CPU, 1 meg of RAM, 2 meg ROM, 4 audio channels, a single controller port and capable of displaying 512 colour graphics, it was certainly no slouch. However, by November 1996 all software development ceased and it was discontinued in December 1998 completely, with only 11 titles to its name. What made this stick out from the crowd was the built-in colour thermal printer with the ability to create images from screenshots, or, with the additional Magic Shop attachment, create stickers from VHS or DVD screen grabs with text overlaid. I bought mine direct from Japan, as fully boxed but in junk condition, which I've kind of started to believe simply means their way of saying untested. So let's pop open the box and let's see what I actually have inside. So inside the box we've got the Loopy itself, we have a copy of one of the games that comes with it, the power supply, which is a 100 volt power supply, so certainly don't want that being plugged into a UK socket because that's going to go boom. We have standard RCA for the video and audio, controller, we've got the various, I'm going to guess, warranty registration and cards, and I have no idea what that is, but it's there. Right, let's move some of this out of the way and let's have a look at the Loopy itself. So the design of the Loopy is quite unique. It's all curvy at the front, curved at the sides, but obviously we have this distinctly different part, and if we open this, here is the cartridge which contains the stickers for the thermal printer so that you can print out, and it looks like they come out the front. This is your cutter, so that cuts the sticker so that it can be removed. And moving across, we've got power, reset, a massive eject button, obviously the cartridge port. On the front we have the single controller input, nothing on the right side, nothing on the left side, and on the back we have our video, left and right audio, 24 volts DC input, which is center positive, and interestingly a contrast adjuster. No connectors on the underside, but if we look, it looks like there's 3, 6, 7 screws to get inside. So the first thing to do before we open it up, let's remove this and remove this carriage for the stickers. We can actually see just in there, there's one yellow sticker left. Now it does look like there's a drive mechanism and a set of 3 little pins at the bottom, which I'm guessing this must tell it what's in. So this one is filled in and these 2 are empty, so it's only this top one we'd actually get tripped. Right, let's open this up and see what we're dealing with inside. So getting into this, it's quite tight once all the screws are out. However, start at approximately the label, and we're just going to use a very thin spudger. Here's the cutter, and I'm just going to go in here, push in on the top, and very gently pop that clip open. Once that clip's open, we should be able to pretty much get everything else to pop. There is another clip somewhere down here. There we go. And then that lid will lift, revealing the internals. I did catch the front badge. So I'm just going to remove this one Phillips screw, and then we can pop this top case cleanly to the side. So the top case on mine is actually quite clean. You can maybe see there's a subtle colour difference between the protected plastic and the outer shell. So that's just a little bit of discoloration due to the age, but everything else is absolutely fine. It'll get a little bit of a wipe down, so that can go to the side. And here are the internals of the Loopy. Thermal colour printer here, and this is the button for the cutter, which if we press you can see maybe the cutter blade moving here. It just guillotines in this point here, cutting the card or the paper and removing that pesky little sticker that you've printed. I can see, certainly here, some caps. This is going to be the power supply, but we've got all of this to drop out, so let me crack on with that just now. And there we are in. We have our power supply with the audio outputs, etc. And we've got the main board. There were a number of cables to disconnect. Right, well, that's a lot of recapping. Let me make a list and we'll start, as usual. First port of call, power in, power board. That is the power supply and the output board all done. I'm going to pop this to the side because I don't need this just now, and we're going to bring in the main board. Now these are surface mount, there are a lot of them. The board is really clean. I don't think these are leaking, but I don't want to take the risk. Through holes are easy, they'll just be done as normal. Now, you've seen me use a number of different methods before for these. I'm going to go back and I'm going to try again the way you're supposed to. And that's using these. Now,
these are the ones specifically for my system, and the idea being is, well, they heat up and it gives you 2 points of contact, which should then heat up enough to allow you to lift off the cap without damaging anything. Yeah, some of them are going to be relatively straightforward. Some of them, yeah, the only way that one's working is to shove it into this connector, and that's not going to work. By the way, they're not on yet. There's a couple of them going to be a little bit more awkward. I'll have to do in a different method. Oh dear, right, it's been a while. First attempt wasn't really that successful, but after doing a lot of looking up, I think the issue I had was I was trying to use these more as I would the soldering iron, so the temperature was way too low. I believe with these you have to crank up the temperature quite a bit so that the points will melt quite quickly and then you can just lift off. That is the theory. So let's see if we can put that into practice. Okay, well, yeah, crank up the heat. I've now got the tips to the point where I'm not having to add too much extra solder, and I kind of found the method, and that was to get down on either side on the lowest point and then a little bit of pressure, and then the minute the solder starts melting they jump in and you get a creak, and then you increase the pressure. And that seemed to work, and then the last ones you saw came off really without having to add any solder in. Yeah, and that was a lot quicker than it would normally take me. Okay, I've still got 2 to remove. I'm not worried about that, but yeah. Okay, they work. I'm impressed. And I'm done. It appears they're all down. The polarities are correct. I have been over under magnification. I've moved a couple of small solder balls, one of which was down here and it would have caused an issue because it was between 2 legs. But a very old solder ball that's still stuck on the original flux from manufacture. There's a lot of flux on this. Yeah, not great. Right. With that all done, let's pop it back together. And with the loopy all done, let's pop the loopy to the side at the moment. So we still have a few bits to look at. The loopy itself needs to run on a power supply. Now, even though this is a 110 volt power supply, I can still recap it because it's still a valid good power supply. I can strip and give a clean out to the controller, and of course we want to make sure that the connectors on the cart are nice and clean. So let's start by opening up this power supply.
Power supplies are dangerous. There are components in these that can hold a charge long after they're unplugged from the mains. So if you're unsure what you're doing, go seek professional advice.
So we're going to look at the power adapter. I may not use it, I may use my external bench power supply. However, I do have a 110 converter, so I could run this, but I want to check and see if there's any caps to replace. And by the looks of it, it's 2 game bits, so let's quickly open this up. So here's our first look inside. Interestingly, it looks like they're just clipped on. Now, I have personally never powered this on. I've had it for quite a while. I know these caps will have no charge in them. 200 volts. Yeah, probably don't want to shove your finger anywhere near that when it's live. And the other one is 300. Nope, 35 volts, 560 UF. Okay, let's pop it out. There we go. We'll pop the casing to the side. I can see lots of flux. I'm just going to straighten some of these. There's been lots of flux used and just not cleaned off, as you can tell from the underside. Lovely. Right, 2 caps that I wish to replace. 560. I don't know if I've got one though, so I may have to order those up and wait for them to come in.
Several days later.
And that's the power supply now done. I've straightened the cable as much as I can because it was badly twisted, but obviously this is a 110 or 100 volt input. Normally in the UK it's difficult to test. However, I do have one of these. These are very heavy, so holding it at this angle is a bit difficult, so I'm going to put it down, plug it in, and let's check the output on that power supply. So we're ready for testing. The output from this power supply should be 24 volts DC positive, so let's switch on, and this makes a bit of a noise. And there we go, stabilizing about 25. Climbing a little bit, but that's probably normal because it's not under load. So that power supply is working. Superb, right. And seeing as I've got that out, I could just use this to test. So let's look at the controller. Now, there is something moving about in there, so we definitely need to get in and have a look. We've got 5 Phillips screws. Cable itself is in quite nice condition, so I don't think I need to worry too much about that. And there we go, we've got a small broken piece of plastic. So where does that come from? Now, it's broken here and here. I can see the top of all of these and they're fine. More broken plastic here. I think we're going to have to go a bit further in. We do have a connector that will just pop out, which is nice. That allows us to move the cable out of the way. Move this. I'm going to suspect, well, it's intact. I was going to say I suspect it's from one of these, but it is intact. Okay. Another piece there. Let's get the rest of this out. Okay, so far so good. Ah, there we go. It's from here, and that is this top screw point. So it looks like it's broken up into sections. So that sits there, and then that glues on top. But it is broken. Right. It's quite clean. Hardly looks like it's been used.
A, B, C, D. Well, that should be fairly easy to remember. Right, let's give it all a clean and then we can pop it back together. Okay, I've tried super gluing this. It's kind of back to where it should be. I have no idea if this is going to work. Very much doubt it. I think what's more likely to happen is as I tighten in, it's just going to fracture and splinter off. Well, only one way to find out really. Okay, now for the moment of truth. Oh my goodness, it went in. It went in and held. It didn't crack, it didn't break, it made no funny noises. Nice. Okay, this is left, this is right obviously. And I had them so that when you looked at it, it was left and right. But apparently that doesn't go in because of the casting. So yeah, they're upside down, so when you look at them you can see left and right. Okay, go figure that one. Bit odd. Time to pop this to the side. So last thing I want to look at is the cart. I want to make sure that the connector is clean, but to do that I'm going to have to get into it, and again it looks like game bits. And first look inside, very basic cartridge. Interestingly, very clean, so it's not going to take much to clean up. And our favourite 2032 battery. Do I just replace this? I'm sure I do have some spares. Probably worth replacing because this is, yeah, fairly old system now. Right, let's give this a clean and look at replacing this battery. All back together, all done. I ended up not replacing the battery for a couple of reasons. First of all, I thought, oh, can I replace it with a battery holder? And the answer is no, they are way too tall and can't get the circuit board back into the case. Second of all, I went looking for the batteries I have, which while looking the same are considerably smaller. These are for the Game Boy games, and yeah, just do not fit in because they're not long enough in the legs. So then I thought I'll check the battery, and when I checked the battery it's over 3 volts. It's hardly dropped anything, so I just popped it back in. Great, so everything's done, and I suppose that kind of leaves us at testing. So we're all plugged in, ready for testing. We've got one loopy, we've got a controller, we've got the cartridge. So let's pop the cartridge in. Next, power up the step-down transformer. And let's see what happens when we power the loopy on. Okay, things happen. Oh, I haven't switched over source. We've got a power LED, so side AV. Oh! Excellent! We are running! I have no idea what this is, and the chances of me being able to play this or even work out what's going on is pretty much non-existent. Yeah. Okay, up and down work. A selects. Yeah, diary, I have no idea. I know start works because that's how I started the game.
is working. Oh. And I don't think it likes me trying to print something here. I'm going to guess we need a fresh cartridge. Okay. Reset. Yeah, I'd say that's running. Nice. Let me turn the volume down. Well, there we are. One Casio Loopy. All done, recapped, and good for, well, another 25 years hopefully. So I hope you found this vaguely interesting. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next Retro Crazy or Retro Crazy Mini Bite.